There's something we got to talk about a little bit because I think it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Last week you posted on your IG stories and I hit you up about this, but you like about how you love a man's hand.
Oh my
and
God.
And it can tell
It
a
caught
lot.
up to me.
Yes, and you were talking about like it can tell a lot. And
Yes.
has this like always been like your fetish or something like that? What is good, guys? It's your boy Corey.
It's your boy John.
And welcome back to the Artistry Drop, where we feature stories from today's rising artists. If you like being inspired, don't miss out on our weekly episodes, so be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell notification to be notified when we drop new episodes.
Yes, sir.
Guys, we're gonna dive right in. Our guest today was born and raised in LA and is a rapper and curly hair specialist. Her single Chills jumpstarted her musical career and was featured on Sway's Overtime. Guys, please welcome Dazy Lyn.
Let's go.
Oh, yes.
Yes,
Welcome to the show, Dazy. We're
Yes,
excited
sir.
to have you here.
I'm super stoked.
I've
I've been waiting
thank
for
you.
this.
I know
thank
you've
you.
been on quite a bit of like podcasts or radio shows and stuff like that. So we're excited to have you on our podcast.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. No, as soon as I saw your setup, I was like, immediately, yes.
And I know
Thank
you
you.
actually thought we were actually in like a studio
This
setup.
is a studio.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's
this
like
is a
it's,
studio.
it's
I
crazy
don't-
because people actually when they walk in they're like, oh, like I didn't know it was your apartment, but
Yeah.
we had like furniture here and we're like
The renovation.
the
fools
renovation, yeah,
Everybody.
yeah, exactly, and we had furniture here and we're like, we got to get this podcast going. Let's throw this shit out.
You know
And-
what?
Yeah.
This is what I love because this is boss shit. You are
Okay.
you are cutting out the middleman, and
Right,
that's
yeah.
what my moves have been all about from the beginning.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
when I started doing hair, I never went to a salon when I graduated. I went to my back house, my
Yeah.
dad's back house.
Oh, okay.
And that's where my hair setup was for about a year.
Yeah.
That's
dope.
So
Right.
when people
Yeah.
would come, they'd pull up to South Central and like, oh, where am I at?
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
they'd
Yeah.
walk into my very well furnished salon in
Yeah.
the back house, and that's exactly what
Yeah.
you guys have going on too.
Exactly,
that's true.
and that's the goal, like, I mean, obviously we've just kind of started Artistry Drop. We started it October, and it's growing quite well. A lot of
Right,
people are
sure.
starting to hear it about us, and people want to come on, so we're like, this shit is doing really good. Let's just do what we have to here, and then eventually the goal is to get a studio. So we're glad we're fooling people like you thinking that this is actually a studio.
For real.
No,
and,
no, I love it. I love it. No,
Yeah.
I mean, it looks great. Like
That
I'm
means
telling
we're
you.
on the right path.
Yeah.
We're
We're
doing
on the
something
right
right.
path, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all about visuals. So
Yes.
as soon as I saw the colors, just the setup,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
You guys set us up for success. The way that you have placed everything and like just visually,
Yeah.
you're setting us up for success.
We appreciate
you.
it. And
Yeah.
like I
That's
said,
what we're about.
Artistry Drop is all about, bringing on artists, upcoming artists, talking about their story and, inspiring the next generation of people that are also trying to be artists.
Yes,
I love
sir.
that.
So yeah, we're excited to bring you on. We're always excited to just get new people on here and
Yes, sir.
hear about their story and stuff. But, before we dive in more, let's get into the drink of the day.
All right, so a little background on the drink of the day. We've actually been watching Temptation Island, if you guys don't already know, because
Yes.
one of the models that we
Our
shot
friend,
with,
from Seattle.
friend and Iris and Luke,
Big shout out them.
Big shout out. We've been shooting with Iris for a long time, ever since we started
Yeah.
first doing photography. So seeing them on the show is definitely some really interesting,
Yeah.
actually. So this drink is actually an Artistry Drop special that I came up with, and it's kind of tribute to the show that we've
Yeah.
been watching. It's called Blue Temptation.
Temptation.
So Blue Temptation is kind of a spin-off of the Blue Coconut Margarita. So I actually blended watermelon to make like a watermelon puree, and then I added that in with tequila, cream of coconut, blended that in, and then added some lime juice, and then just topped it off, garnished with a watermelon slice and then coconut shavings.
It
on
looks
the side.
fire. I mean,
Yeah.
the presentation is fire.
You gotta keep going up.
Yeah, you
Gotta
killing
keep
it again.
leveling it.
All right, let's take a toast.
All right, Blue Temptation.
Blue Temptation.
Salud.
We're gonna
Yes,
get
sir.
into
Salud.
it. That is good.
I'm
Yeah.
mad that I don't have a jar of this. Like it's so fire.
It
It's
is
so
good.
fire.
Yeah. Did you taste hers?
I didn't taste
Okay,
hers.
so
No.
that actually
It's
already likes
amazing.
it. Yeah.
I was like, ooh.
And mine is virgin, so it's
Yeah,
like
right.
super pure in there.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
watermelon.
Yeah.
Like I love it. Like
Yeah.
it's so refreshing.
It looks exactly the same. It's just a virgin version.
Yeah,
And-
I basically put the same ingredients except the tequila.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
So,
and that shit is good.
Thank
Hey,
you.
major props to you.
That's
Thank
actually what I do. When I go out, I order virgin mojitos or virgin margaritas
Right.
or even micheladas.
Ooh, I love those. Yeah.
So,
I can't do those.
when
My girlfriend loves those.
they're amazing.
Yeah, they are.
So, when I did used to drink, I would have obviously micheladas with beers, but now that I'm sober, I have replaced the beer with like mineral water.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And
Yeah.
it's fire.
Yeah,
It
that's
tastes
awesome.
Fire.
personally, it tastes so much better, and I've put so many people onto that, and they're like, "Yeah, no, it's fire." Like
Yeah.
the other day, I ordered one that was virgin, and I'm like, "Yeah, no, it's amazing."
I gotta try that. That sounds
You got
good.
to, yeah.
What?
No.
What? Just a question. Like, what made you switch to being sober?
Oh, well, I was an alcoholic. I started at 14 years old, and
really?
yeah, it was like a job for me. It was not even a job, right? Like it was just something that I did on the regular basis.
Yeah,
and, I was an alcoholic for about 10 years. And I don't want to get into what
You don't have to go
sparked,
into
details.
sparked
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
You don't have to go into
I kind of
details.
want to get into that down the line because that is something that I want to share. It's a very big part of
Right.
my story.
Yeah.
When you're ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as time progresses, I'm like, okay, now it's time.
Yeah,
I'm gonna throw it in there.
Exactly.
But definitely there was something that sparked it, and I did go sober.
Yeah.
Quit cold turkey from one day to the next,
Yeah.
and I stayed sober for 3.5 years,
Wow.
and then I had myself a little relapse. So earlier we were
Yeah.
talking about you had a guest
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
I was like, that kind of happened to me as
Yeah.
well, but I made the decision to drink.
Right, right.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
after that, I went right back into that routine
Yeah.
of drinking every single day. And, I was just very destructive. And, I got to my 30th birthday and I had another spiritual awakening at that moment
Yeah.
where I was pretty much forced to go clean.
Yeah.
And I've been clean ever since.
That's
and
awesome.
I
How
feel
long has it been now?
3 years, June 10th.
Oh wow!
Congrats.
Yeah,
Let's give you a round of applause.
Yes.
How old are you then?
I'll be 33 in July.
No way.
Hey.
Yeah.
No
When's your
way.
birthday? Because I'm 34.
Okay.
I'm turning 35 in July.
Wow, I thought you were so much. I was like,
Yeah.
I get that all the
Yeah.
time.
I always think that I'm older than people,
Right.
I get that all. When's your birthday?
July 14.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, so mine is the 24th and hers is actually the 30th. So we're all July babies.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
But you guys are Leos.
Yeah.
Leos.
Yeah, we
yeah.
are Leos. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So
yeah.
two Leos together.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
bet.
See, I don't do the whole like astrology
yeah.
type of thing.
The chart,
like,
yeah, you don't rely on it?
I
Yeah.
don't. Like, she's big on it, and
Yeah.
like she'll read it to me, and I'm
She's like, what time were you born?
Yeah.
Ask your mama.
She actually asked me that. Actually, I think it was like I don't know. A couple
That means
weeks
she
ago.
loves you. You know, when girls start asking you what time, they care.
Yeah, no.
They care.
Yeah,
On a
only
deeper
reason
level.
I wanted to know why you went sober is because, I drink a lot too.
Okay,
And
yeah.
I went sober for a couple months or a few months. It was probably the longest time I went. And
We've had many questions if he's an alcoholic.
yeah, no, honestly,
But as a
like,
joke, of course.
Yeah.
but-
And
No,
like
you probably are.
I probably
Yeah.
am. I do drink a lot and it's not good.
Mm-hmm.
But, I've been trying my hardest to reduce each time, like reduce a little bit here and there and, stuff like that. And like I said, when I went without it 3 months, I was proud of myself too. I was like, but and then the
Yeah.
thing that sparks it is when it comes to football. Like, we're from Seattle. Football is big back home,
Right.
Seahawks and stuff like that. And when it comes around that season, we kind of get back into drinking. So it's
Yeah.
like,
It's just the culture.
It's just the culture. And,
Yeah.
it's hard to go back. But I would definitely say, I'm doing a little bit better because I was drinking like almost every day
Right.
at one point.
And I'm glad you guys are talking about it because I feel like a lot of people who are listening will probably take that into consideration too,
Yeah.
who are thinking about, we have drinks here all the time,
Yeah.
but we always ask the guest who's coming on now, if they drink alcohol
Yeah.
because like you said, we don't want to start that relapse.
Yeah, we don't want to start that.
You know,
Yeah.
people have a whole different life and a whole different background that we don't know about. Yeah, so we always try to be respectful and always ask.
Yeah, definitely proud of you though. You know,
yeah,
going
3 years. That's
big. That's a long time. So I'm definitely trying to push myself, and I want to definitely make that 1 year mark because. Like even longer than 1 year, obviously, because I want to live a longer life, of course, so.
He's getting older.
Yeah, I'm getting older, I'm turning 35.
We have an inside joke of like, he's the grandpa because he's the oldest out of all of us.
Yeah. Grandpa?
Yeah,
Grandpa.
grandpa.
So I guess I'm grandma?
I guess so.
You are pretty much grandma.
I'm approaching,
you are. So, hey, early happy birthday to you as well.
Yes,
Coming up
sir.
very soon to me as well.
It's around the corner.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. All right, we definitely want to get into it. So you were born and raised here in LA.
Yes.
Was like LA hip hop culture like an inspiration for you to get into like hip hop and rap?
Absolutely. I mean, growing up, the only memory that I have is listening to rap. Like, I would ride around in the car with my dad.
Yeah.
And he would listen to rap all the time. So we grew up listening to Power 106. So this is like the hottest radio show
for sure.
here, right? Radio station.
Yeah.
So I grew up listening to that, and it was a huge influence in my musical palette.
Okay.
It extends past rap, but at the very core foundation of my music is rap. Like ever since I was like 3 years old, like they'd be like, "What's your favorite music?" Rap.
Oh, really?
And you better bump it. I hate listening to music so low. I hate when people lower my music. When oh my god, my biggest pet peeve is when someone lowers my music while I'm in the car. I give them the death stare, like put that shit back up. Especially now because I'm a passenger now. Like I haven't had a car in 3 years, so now I'm riding passenger all the time. And it's like. I have this thing where I'm like trying not to always be in control, and it's like, it's on my car, bitch, calm down, but I'm gonna put that shit back up. Don't lower my music.
Right.
So you did say like, outside of like rap and hip hop, you liked other things. Was that like R&B or what?
Everything. So it's like R&B, oldies, classic rock, all genres of Spanish. That's salsa, merengue, cumbia, reggaeton, classical music. Like I will say, no offense to the country lovers out there, but I'm not a country fan at all. At all. That's the one I'm like, it's out.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry because I don't mean to offend anyone.
No,
I'm just like, that's out.
I agree with you. Like I said, I mean, there are certain countries because I'm half Filipino and half white, and I would have thought I was gonna grow up in like a country thing, with my mom being the white one, and I thought I was gonna grow up with that and stuff, but luckily I didn't. My parents raised me on some great music, like number one is MJ, Michael Jackson. That's who I look up to the most. And then, a lot of 80s, 90s R&B, and stuff like that. That's the music I still currently listen to. And, of course, like I like some of the music out now today, but it's like nothing can beat like 80s, 90s.
Are you stuck in the 90s too?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think we all are.
Yes. Yeah. Like, honestly, it's just like the music during that time, nothing can beat it. Right. And of course, there are a lot of new rappers out, such as yourself, but it's like there's other rappers out there that have this like the mumble rap, and I can't do that stuff.
I can't get into it, but I am a fan of beats, so as long as the beats slap,
beats in the flow. But it definitely is like recycled rather than setting a legacy. Because I feel like in the 90s they really paved the way for a lot of people who are coming up now, and a lot of people who are now coming up don't really have that same mentality as people in the 90s did. So it's really hard for it not to be recycled because a lot of things have already been done as well. So no, and then like going back on what you were talking about, like people turning down your music, or it's the same way for me. Like sometimes like because I have subs in my car and I just love when that bass hits and stuff like that. And sitting in the back seat,
it makes me speed.
He hates, so whenever I'm driving,
he's like, I'm getting a massage.
He's like, can you turn down the sub? I'm like, damn, you're fucking
it's
weak.
so
like,
loud to where I never get car sick. No, I never get car sick at all. But like and being in the back seat of his car, I do get car sick because the bass of the subwoofer.
I play that shit loud.
Is his girl in the front?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right. Okay.
And I'm just like taking it.
Yeah.
And so if it's longer than 30-minute drive, like it gets to me.
Yes.
For a
and
while,
I understand
you know?
it. So I got to the point where it's like, okay, you know, I feel bad for you. I'm gonna just turn this shit down. You know, but and then there are some times too where it's like I'm listening to like a good song, and then sometimes she'll like talk to me, and I'm like,
Not right now, man. I'm
what?
busy.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
We
You know,
take
it's-
our music very
exactly.
seriously.
It's like
Yeah.
that's how I've always been. Like even back home,
Facts.
because we're from Seattle. So
Yeah.
we're from Seattle, just so you know that.
So all
But-
three of you?
No, she's from
Okay,
she's from
okay.
Long Beach. Sorry,
Okay,
my bad.
okay.
Oh, just us two. We're
Okay.
we're from Seattle, but yeah, like you know, going back home, it was like I was usually always just the only passenger. So it's like I installed subs right away. I love feeling that bass. Little backstory: I did produce music before I got into like filmmaking and stuff like that, and you know,
You're just a creative in
I'm
general.
just yeah. You know, music has always just been in my blood. Like growing up, like dancing to MJ and stuff like that, and I've just always loved music. So that's the reason for subwoofers. It's like I love that bass. I love when that shit hits.
Right.
So you know, and then of course it's like if somebody's trying to talk to me when I'm listening to this, I'm like.
You're being interrupted.
Exactly. You know, yeah. So it's just because you're in the mood with that song.
And he doesn't lower the music down. You have to talk louder. If you want to talk
That's
to him.
purposely. That's
Yeah,
purposely.
right,
That's
yes.
like hurry up.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to
Exactly.
get back to it.
Get it
Exactly,
out, right?
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't lower it because that leaves room
Yeah.
for further questions.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah,
it's like
and she does that to me sometimes, and
I turn it up.
yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
like,
What? I can't hear you. What'd you say?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
means wrap it up, baby. Let's go. You know?
No, so I definitely like feel you on that. You know,
Talk
that
to me
whole
when we
thing.
get there.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no,
Right.
I feel you on
We got
that.
time.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. So you know, growing up, like, who were some of your biggest inspirations? Because you know, like you mentioned, you listened to a variety of music, except for like country, of course. But who were your biggest inspirations?
Off the top of my head, Nas. Nas is always
Okay.
number one. Foxy Brown,
Okay.
Lauryn Hill,
Definitely.
Eve, Jay-Z,
Of course.
Biggie, Pac,
Biggie, yeah. I was
Ice
gonna say that.
Cube, man, Exhibit,
Yeah.
Obi Trice. Like there, I mean, the list
of OGs.
goes
Yeah, a lot
on.
of OGs. Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
like I'm a big fan of a lot of people,
Yeah.
so it's very hard for me to just kind of narrow it down. But those first five
Yeah.
were always at the top of my list.
No, that's a
that
great
is-
list, and
yeah.
you know, like, I kind of want to touch back on what we were talking about because I never really got into rap until I want to say after middle school. I want to say the first rap concert I actually went to was it was at our football stadium, CenturyLink Field, and it was like Diddy was the
You had Diddy at your school?
No. Sorry, it was a concert.
Oh, okay.
It was so it was like my first rap concert I've ever went to. So I forget what the actual concert was called, but you know they had like a variety of different artists. They
Oh
had
yeah,
like
those are my favorite.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right,
It was like a variety. It's like they had like Sheryl Crow there. They had some R&B artists there. I forget who it goes back to, but Diddy was like the lead. I forget what's the actual term for when it's like
the headliner.
the headliner. The
Yeah.
headliner. So he was like the headliner, and you know, my parents actually took me, and
Oh wow, you rolled with your
yeah,
parents.
yeah. My
Okay.
parents because you know there were the artists that were there before Diddy. It was like they wanted to listen to them, so they didn't really even know about Diddy before. So this is probably I
So
want to
y'all
say
all found out together.
exactly.
Yeah.
So
You
like
got some cool parents. For
yeah,
sure.
yeah, no, definitely, no, definitely.
Yeah, I wouldn't go with my parents. So, yo,
Yeah,
you need to stay
debatable.
home.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
my parents,
I'm trying
like,
to turn up.
Yeah,
no,
right.
my parents love that shit, and like I said, they raised me on some great music. That's why it's like you know, I still go back to 80s, 90s music no matter what. But
Yeah.
even today, they still listen to today's music and stuff, which
Okay.
is dope.
The
you know?
hip.
Yeah, the hip stuff, you know. But yeah, so Diddy was probably the first like kind of rap I really got into, and then that's when I started venturing out, and then got into Tupac and Biggie, and you know all the great art, you know, Exhibit, like
Yes.
you know, downloading their albums illegally. My
course.
bad.
Yeah. Torrents.
You know,
Yeah.
torrents. I
Yeah.
think
Yeah,
everybody
yeah.
did that, but it was like that was the only thing I could use to listen to the music because I loved their music at the time.
I understand.
Yeah,
I only
so-
heard about that because I didn't have internet growing up, so
Oh, okay.
I would watch my friends do
Yeah.
it, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I'd
yeah,
see
yeah.
them on like
Yeah.
LimeWire and
Yeah.
stuff.
And of
Yeah.
course, you know, nowadays today it's not the greatest thing to do because now I know why it's not a good thing to download artist music, you know.
You're stealing.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
exactly. It's
And you're not supporting
Yeah,
that.
You're not
yeah,
supporting the
exactly,
artist, you know.
exactly.
Like it's like back in middle school and high school, you know, like that was our time, you know.
I'm like,
so-
I'd bootleg my own shit. bro.
Right, right, exactly.
no, but you know how it is. Like during we were in the same generation, you know. So
Yeah.
it's like you know how it was
Yeah.
back then and stuff like that. It was like you don't really think about that. It was
Yeah,
like
you see
like
an
the
opportunity.
Yeah,
take
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Exactly.
You
If
like,
I can get it for free, why would I pay for it?
exactly,
Exactly.
you know,
I get
and
it.
that's how it is. You know, like growing up in middle school and high school, that's just how it was. Nobody thought about buying albums or, you know, like if you can download on LimeWire or, you know, whatever and get that shit for
Frostwire.
free.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, get that
Yeah,
shit
for
for
sure.
free. You know, you're going to do
I did
it.
that
But
too.
yeah, I think everybody did
Yeah,
that.
I mean, I might still do it.
yeah.
Oh, damn.
No, it's like, you know, with Spotify and Apple Music out nowadays, you know,
Right.
and like you said, I mean, you have your music on there too,
Yeah.
you know, so
Right.
it's nowadays.
It's a conscious effort.
It
It's
is,
like
it
it's
is.
like, you know, you gotta want to
exactly
want to support.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's, you know, I never thought about it like that before, and I guarantee
course,
you 100% of people never thought about it that way.
Oh, yeah,
either.
for
Hashtag
sure.
growth.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
so
for
it's
sure.
like once you get to that age, you're like, okay, now I know why, you know, it's not a good idea to, you know, bootleg these people's music because you're
Yeah.
not supporting. You're,
Yeah.
you know, these people aren't getting paid for the shit that you know, that you make and stuff like that. You know, so
Good for you. What a righteous person.
I
I
know.
like that. I like this
She's
guy.
like, I don't do it, but yeah. You
No,
do you.
I'm just saying, you know, like it's the growth, you know, it's the
Yeah.
growth. Like back then, that was my mentality. Like
Yeah.
I just want this shit for free. And
Right.
we talked about this on our last episode. I got caught downloading like Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah.
Oh, I think I did see
Yeah,
that.
so
yeah,
yeah,
okay.
I got caught, and you know, like after that, that was probably one of the things that scared me the most, and I backed away from even downloading shit anymore.
Yeah.
And that was that. It just took that one thing, and I was like, okay, I'm done. You know, I'm done now. So
Yeah.
and then pretty much after that, you know, I would just buy albums. I had this big ass CD collection back home in Seattle with my parents right now, and it's all the CDs I bought pretty much after that whole thing. And yeah, it was
Yeah.
a crazy time, you know. So
I mean, that's
Yeah.
good that you listened to your lesson because
Yeah.
I
Right.
do believe that life does things like that, you know, in order to get your attention.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's up to you whether you're going to continue doing these certain habits.
Exactly.
You know,
Right.
and if you stop, it's like, okay, you learned your lesson.
Yeah.
You're not going to continue.
Right.
Otherwise, you can totally eat shit
Yeah.
down
Right.
the line. But
Yeah.
these are the warnings.
Yeah, warnings, yeah,
The
for
little
sure.
warnings
Yeah.
that you know life tends to
yeah.
give you.
Yeah.
You know.
You
No, I
gotta
can
grow
see
up
that,
at
yeah.
one point, you know. It's like you gotta progress in your life and, you know, stuff like that. So like it's just one of those things. I mean, yeah, that shit did scare me.
Right.
And that like changed a lot, you know, like my dad
Yeah.
got mad at me.
You were
Yeah.
probably held accountable as a child.
Yes.
Like
Right,
right.
that's what
After that,
happened.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the way that I see things is if as children we were held accountable for our actions,
Yeah.
we grew up to be stand-up folks, you know,
Right,
because
right.
I
Sure.
believe that too.
we always have that in the back of our head that there are consequences to things.
Oh, yeah, for
but
sure.
if we had parents that maybe didn't place too much emphasis on
Yeah.
discipline, you know, these are the people that kind of grow up
Yeah.
Right.
criminals or you know just
Yeah.
not the greatest
Yeah.
examples,
Right, right,
you know.
Facts.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that to me just shows like you would do something wrong, you'd get punished for it.
Yeah.
You
Right.
know, and like that's how I was raised.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was grounded every other
Right.
week. No joke.
Yeah.
Like growing up, I fucked up a lot. So I would get grounded and I'd
Yeah.
be super upset. But in the long run, it definitely shaped me to
Yeah.
be a better human. So
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
Let's
and that's,
go.
that's
And
just
look where we
growth.
are now. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
just growth.
Yeah,
you
let's
know?
move it
So
on to the next level. You got to take, you know, the discipline that life, you know, that you receive from life and, you know, move on to the next level.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So going back into you, like I heard you consider yourself like an undercover rapper. I want to dive like in a little bit deeper into that on what it means, and also like when did you like decide to finally come out with some heat?
So when I said that undercover rapper thing, it was mainly because for 10 years I enjoyed rapping.
Okay.
I would write my own verses, but I never showed anyone.
Oh, okay.
So that's basically where it came from, because it's like I put out that single Chills back in November, and you know, it's only been a few months, and it's been doing really
Shit
well.
is fire.
Yeah,
Right.
like
Shit
it's
is
like
fire.
things are moving right now,
for
you
sure.
know. But prior to that, I was in the closet for 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
You know what I mean? Yeah. So
Yeah.
I started at about 22 years old, and you know, it was my little secret, pretty much. And I would show certain people, but it wasn't like a thing.
Right.
You know, it
What
was.
prevented you from like, you know, releasing that?
You know, I think that sometimes we're afraid to fail. We're afraid of what people think about us.
Right.
And you know, it wasn't until I had that spiritual awakening at 30 years old that I got past that.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
like now I'm much more accepting of my journey, and I understand that everyone has to start somewhere.
Right.
Yeah.
For sure.
There is
Facts.
always
Yeah. And it's never
Point.
too late. Yeah.
Yeah.
there's
no matter-
always point A that
Right.
even those that came before us, like the Nazes, or
Oh, yeah.
they were brand spanking new.
Right.
You know, so they all had to go through these feelings, and you know, it's up to us to, you know, get past that barrier
Right.
and to actually, you know, fulfill our purpose and, you know, whatever it is that we want to do.
Right.
You know, and that's what it was for me, basically, just getting past the idea that I could be critiqued, you know.
Right.
And now I don't care. Like
Right.
now I'm just like, I like sometimes I'll agree, you know,
Okay.
like if I hear something, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I could have done that better.
Yeah.
You know, and
exactly.
I don't take things very personally. And
Yeah,
you know,
can't.
that's very that's a part of my growth, because growing up I took everything personally.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you could say something to me that would destroy me
Oh, really?
growing
Wow.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like words were like, you know, they held a lot of power.
Yeah.
You know, they still do, but
Yeah.
like I interpret it differently.
Yeah.
You know, but that's just the process of growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like now there's not much anyone can say that's going to shake me too
Yeah.
much. You know,
Yeah.
it's like
Right.
I take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
And it's like I've been the one beating myself up for so long mentally
Yeah.
that it's like once I learned how to talk to myself differently, it's like, oh no one really matters.
Exactly.
You know, it's
Yeah.
all what I'm saying to myself
Exactly.
at the end of the day.
Yeah, I'm proud
Facts.
of you how far you've come and
Yeah.
you know how
Thank
strong
you.
you became.
Thank you.
Was that transformation, you know, hard after those 10 years into what you or who you are now?
It was hard because of the pain that accompanies those lessons, right? So it's like it wasn't easy, you know. I had to face a lot of truths, right?
right.
I had to have a lot of acceptance. Like my journey has been one of acceptance. You know, I've done many things that I'm embarrassed about. I've made many mistakes, right? And I made them repeatedly. So what we were talking about earlier is that, you know, life gives us these warning signs. And because I just wanted what I wanted and I wanted it now, I would ignore these signs and continue to do destructive things, you know? So now I practice a lot of trust.
Right.
I have so much trust in life that it's just like, if something's not given to me at a certain time, I understand that it's just not the moment for it.
Right.
But it's coming,
Right.
or I'm going to have another door that's going to lead to something better.
Yeah.
Right.
So with this mindset, everything has become so much easier. So definitely, you know, it was the pain behind it all that made it hard.
Yeah.
But, you know, now I've reached this point where because of this mentality, I don't see life as being hard anymore. Growing up, I had this this thought that life was so hard. Life was out to get me. Why me? Why did these things happen to me? Look at so and so. So it's like you have jealousy within you.
Like comparison,
Yeah, you're comparing yourself to others constantly. You're in this victim mentality, and it's like it's so comfortable to stay there because there's no effort to get out of it.
Right.
You know, but then when you're like placing effort and like putting work into who you are as a person, into building this mentality, you know, it'll pay off.
Yeah,
it will.
No.
You know?
We interrupt this episode with a word from our sponsor. Are you a gamer and looking to amp up your gaming setup? Then we've got an amazing gaming brand for you. Tilted Nation strives to get their customers involved with their development process of new products in order to establish a personal connection and not to mention truly optimized products for the gaming community. They want to go beyond developing amazing products and to lead the gaming community into a united community that works together. A community that pushes gaming essentials to unimaginable heights. They've hooked us up with amazing gear such as this gaming headset stand, mouse pads, and this awesome laptop RGB stand right below my laptop. And now they're hooking you guys up. Use the discount code Artistry Drop on their website, link below, and receive a 15% discount. Now back to the show.
And you're a living truth to how, how hard it could be living in the moment, but actually, overcoming that and really what it could do afterwards. You know, you're a living
life
truth.
Is magic.
Yeah.
It's magical.
Yeah.
Right.
No, it is. It's amazing. And, I can definitely resonate with a lot of what you were saying as well. Like even growing up for me, I was definitely, one of those kids where, I put my parents through a lot of stress, when I was a kid as well. It even got to the point, and I don't really talk about this too much either, but it was like they put me into, what do you call it? What's the word? They wanted me to get help because they thought I was, what's the word?
I don't know the word too, but I know
we're
what you're talking
buzzing
about.
a little bit. Sorry guys.
Oh,
We're sorry. No, but it got to the point where they're like, you know what, he's being a bad kid. Like we need to get him some help and stuff like that. And
was it like therapy?
It wasn't therapy. It wasn't therapy. It was like it was almost like that, but it wasn't because I wasn't like that destructive. But my mom just
they were just concerned.
Yeah, they didn't like how I was treating them when I was a kid. So it was like they wanted, they would talk to me and we would bring all three of us would be in the session where it's like, why are you treating your parents like this? And
are you an only child?
No, I have a sister, but I'm the oldest one.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the oldest one. So this happened during like, when I was when she wasn't born yet, or she might have been a baby during that time.
He's always the oldest one.
Yeah,
the grandpa.
Shut up. Mm-hmm. So I definitely resonate with that. Like growing up, I had a lot of issues with my parents and stuff like that, but I felt like a lot of that changed once I started getting into some kind of artistry, and that artistry didn't come in until freshman year of high school. And that's when things definitely started to change. I definitely had a negative mindset, of life and stuff like that. But, now, like ever since then, I've been one of the most positive people you can meet because when
you found the formula.
Yeah, exactly. And, this is why, like, with him, I try to inspire him. I try to inspire my girlfriend. But it's like that inspiration was never part of me once before. It was like I had a lot of negativity at one time.
Oh, yeah.
Before I went to film school and, all this. It was during, like, middle school years and into a little high school. But once I found that artistry that I really loved, it was like, damn, this shit is fun. Like, I can see me actually doing something with this, which started off with music first, right? Started producing music. Local rappers would come over and I would make them beats and then they would rap in my little like studio that was in my closet and stuff like that.
You're DIY all the way.
No,
and I like that.
Exactly.
I'm the same way.
You have to
hustle.
start. Yeah.
It's the hustle.
I got a DIY kind of life. You know what I mean? And
Facts.
that's great.
You got to start some way, like honestly, especially when a lot of the shit that you want is expensive. It's like you don't want to always depend on your parents to like try to buy you that shit, right? So it's like during that time when I found my artistry, YouTube had just come out, which is around 2006. So, you know, people were
YouTube University.
exactly you know,
YouTube
there was-
University.
Yes, no, exactly.
That's the
facts.
first time I ever heard of that. But
That's the
it's-
first time
it's
I've heard that
facts.
too. But no, that is facts. Like people were coming out with DIY tutorials, everything, you know, and that's how I caught on to like how to produce music a little bit more.
Self-taught,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know, everything. And then that's when I
love
slowly progressed into filmmaking. And, you know, I was like, you know what, this shit is fun. Like I want to go back to school. You know, so I went back to film school, graduated that shit, and yeah, like ever since then, it's like I've always had that positive mindset. Like I've always, I haven't thought negative about things. I would,
great.
you know, like moving down to LA was one of those things where it's like I'm setting my mind on that. Like we're gonna move down here because you know, fortunately for you, like you were born and raised here. Like you know, you didn't have to make the move or anything, but moving here is a lot of people's dreams, especially when you have that kind of artistry. So
Right.
you
Tell
know,
me about it, man.
yeah,
that traffic
yeah.
is crazy.
it is though. It is.
Shit.
It is.
Crazy.
Y'all
And that
tripping.
takes that takes a lot of you know, like back in Seattle, like traffic is getting better, but it's like it was never as bad as it was. It's like it's not as bad as LA.
You only got traffic from like 4 to 7.
Yeah,
Over
yeah,
there,
yeah.
like at peak hours.
Yeah, peak
and then in
hours.
the morning, like
Here it's like all
7,
day,
8,
like
yeah.
almost
Oh,
all day.
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But yeah, no, like I said, you know, it was definitely one of the goals and dreams of moving down here, and like I said, it was just keeping that positive energy, and you know, pushing yourself to work harder and trying to achieve those dreams.
Right.
Like it just changes your mindset.
Absolutely. Well,
know.
I talk about this often, you know, even with my own clients. It's like when I see a child that is acting up, you know, being rebellious, like to me, it just shows, you know, that they're not happy in whatever they're doing. And, you know, when I was in school, I was not happy because this is not what interests me.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
and I think that they try to put us into this mold, right? Where it's like everyone has to do the same thing. You have to go to
Right.
school.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to go to college. You have to do this. And I don't believe that there is one blueprint to life.
Right.
We are all individuals that have different interests.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me, it's very important that with children, we find out what those interests are.
Right.
Perhaps this child likes to dance or act or sing,
Yeah.
or maybe they're like engineers. Like I will watch a child, and if they're like building something, I'll tell their mom real quick, that's an engineer.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
if, like I'll just watch what they're doing.
Right,
If they're
right.
I have this one cousin, she used to walk on her tiptoes when she was a little girl, and I called it. I was like, she's a dancer, you know, and they would look at me like I was crazy.
Yeah,
right.
Fast forward, you know, 15 years later, she's a dancer.
Yeah.
You know, and I said, I
Yeah,
told y'all.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
and like to me, it's like you cater to the interests of this person.
Yeah,
You
right.
cultivate those interests, strengthen them,
Right.
and they become happy people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like that's what I did,
Yeah.
and you know, I felt great about it once I found what I like to do.
Yeah.
You know, but there's so many people out here that are unhappy because they feel forced to pursue education.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
You know, like go to college and stuff
Right.
like that. Like I'm the one that's gonna tell you don't go. You
Right.
know, like do something else. But
Yeah.
I'm into like trade schools.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
like like if you know what you want to do,
Right.
and it's like like you wanted to do music, you
Yeah.
went to school for that, or you know, filmmaking. It's like, okay, that makes sense to
Yeah.
me. But to go to school just to go to school because you have to,
Yeah.
someone
Right.
told you you have to, I'm totally against that.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
I did it myself. You know, I was in college 6 years, you know, before I became a hairstylist because I didn't know what to do, and everyone was pressuring me that
Exactly.
you need to figure out what you're gonna do for the rest of your life.
Right.
You know, you need a degree to make money, this,
Yeah.
that, and the other.
Right.
And it's like, that's such bullshit because I've made a beautiful life without having any of that.
Right.
Yeah.
So
No, and you know, to touch on that too, like I didn't graduate high school, you know, and I've talked about this before, but like high school and being in school in general just wasn't something I really cared for. So, you know, I failed quite a bit of classes, and you know, I had time to actually go back and make up for those classes, but I just never did it, and I never graduated. And then, like I said, fast
I'm not
forward.
mad at you.
Fast forward, you know, like that's when I started getting into like filmmaking and stuff, and you know, picking up a camera and shooting and stuff, and that's where I was like, damn, this shit is actually fun. That's like, after the whole music thing, but I was like, this shit is fun, like I kind of want to learn a lot more about it. So,
and then that's when you dig deeper.
Yeah,
and
so
go to school.
Yeah,
that makes sense to me.
Yeah, so I had to go back and get my GED. There's no way I could go to college without it, obviously.
Understood.
So, I studied up, went for a few tests, got my GED. So I was like, perfect. Now I can actually go to college and learn this shit, So I applied, got into 2 different colleges. One was Art Institute of Seattle, which was a terrible school. It was good for a while, and then, coming down here to LA for vacation, I found out about the Los Angeles Film School. Applied there. Right. Yeah, applied there, got in, graduated with a bachelor's. And that school is amazing. So
I have a few friends that went
there.
You do?
Yeah. It's a great school. I definitely try to I vouch for people to go there. And what's crazy is I did mine online, and a lot of people will do theirs, on site, of course, but it's because I was still in Seattle. They have an online course. I learned way more online than I did at versus going on site at the school I was going to.
You just have a different learning style, probably.
Probably,
Because I have to be there in person. I gotta look at someone in the eye because, I don't deal with robots.
Yeah. No, I definitely, and with filmmaking, it's a different thing too, because filmmaking, you definitely got to be more hands-on. That's how you learn. Like you can watch as much videos and movies and all that as you want, but you won't know how it feels to actually shoot films or stuff like that until you actually do it yourself.
Everything's hands-on.
Everything is hands-on. And that's why I said it's just been a great path for me to kind of like I said, from progressing from hating school, going to school, and then graduating,
Yeah, and going back to what you said, I really resonate to that point. You said you went to college and you kind of felt like you were forced to go there because of the schooling and whatnot. And I, went to the medical field as well.
They wanted you to be a nurse.
Of course.
John's got to be a nurse like the rest of the family.
So, really flourishing on your natural talents, like you were saying, I really resonate with that because, I was naturally talented in dance and naturally talented in photography and editing, but I didn't really know it. I mean, I kind of knew it at the time, but I was listening to the noise of my parents and,
of course.
What they set out.
They get in the way sometimes.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, parents don't always know what's good for you.
Exactly, especially the first generation parents, you know, coming from a different country, They're
so brainwashed.
Yeah. And that's the only way they know how to succeed. So, of course, they're going to bring that upon their child. This is the only way. You got to do this. But living in the generation that we live in now, things are so different.
Things are changing. The parents are setting their kids up to be TikTokers.
Right
now,
exactly.
They're like, oh, you want to get into YouTube? Here you go. I love our generation.
Facts.
It's like we're changing the process here.
Right.
Yeah.
The ones running the world gonna be real mad at us.
Facts.
Let's
go.
Yeah.
So I want to go, into your single Chills.
Yeah.
And the fact that I had already brought up, who your inspirations were, this already gives me kind of, like an insight on it. But it definitely has a mixture of that East Coast and a little bit of that West Coast mix from the instrumental. Like the fact that even though we do live on the West Coast, do you still like that East Coast sound? Because you mentioned Nas and everybody.
I do. I love LA. I was born and raised here, but I cannot deny my love for East Coast rap. Okay. I value them both.
Yeah.
But I definitely have always kind of favored the sound. It's more like gutter, you know, and that's my style, I like that.
And I noticed that right off the bat from listening to Chills, I was like, this is some East Coast shit.
No, for sure.
This shit is fire though. No, you killed it on that track.
What's so funny is that people think that I'm from the East Coast, and my first time in New York ever was January of this year. When I went to meet with Sway to do overtime.
That shit's fire,
That was my first time in snow. I had no idea. People carry shovels in their cars, and I'm like, yo, y'all tripping. It's cold, you know.
Exactly.
That's when I was like, I want to go back home.
You almost have that Bronx like accent too.
Yeah,
It's like
oh,
almost
wow.
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like it's kind of believable that you would be from the East Coast.
Okay.
You know, so and definitely like when
Is that
you
the
rap,
first time you've heard that?
No, I've heard it before,
Oh,
you
really?
know, but
Okay.
it's like I'm so LA, baby.
Right,
Like
right.
I didn't start traveling
Yeah.
till a few years ago, maybe like three years ago.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so other than that, I've
You've
literally
just always been that LA baby.
I've literally been and yeah, I'm not embarrassed to say it, but it's like I've been very sheltered in these streets. So it's like I ran from downtown LA, Koreatown, South Central, and back. Like that's where I've lived.
Yeah.
That's where I've hung out. That's
Yeah.
where I've shopped. That's where I've ate. Like I only went to Glendale to go to Glendale Galleria. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
yeah,
I only
yeah.
went to the west side
Yeah.
because I went to Fairfax High School.
Yeah.
Other than that, I ain't got no business there. You
Right,
know,
right.
like I was
You are
always
central LA.
Exactly.
You're right in the middle of the midst of all the
Exactly.
popular places, key places in
I
LA.
was just every day, Monday through Friday. I mean,
Right.
Monday through Sunday in LA. Like
Yeah.
I have nothing to do outside of these walls. So now my world is beginning to expand, right?
yeah.
Because now I'm starting to travel.
Yeah.
And I've been to Peru, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, New York. I've been to Seattle.
Oh,
yeah.
damn.
I've
Okay.
checked y'all out. Yeah, it's,
Okay.
it's cold.
Yeah, it is cold.
No,
It's
it is.
Yeah.
It's a little gloomy too.
No,
Yeah,
but, you know, like
all the time.
So
I was, like,
okay,
sad.
now
Yeah.
that you've been there, like, did you notice a difference in air?
It's crisp.
Right?
Yeah.
So
It-
that was
the trees.
Yes,
It's the trees.
Yes,
and
it's the trees.
It's a beautiful place.
It
like
is.
I love the green. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I was just like, there's nothing to do out here.
Right?
like-
That is the thing, and
Yeah.
even with me being born and raised in Seattle, like it's facts. Like there's just not much to do out there, and that's why with me growing up, or like me trying to get into entertainment and doing more like music videos and all this, like I can't do this in Seattle. Like LA is the place I gotta be, and that's why I said I made it my goal of trying to get here. And like I said, LA has definitely been a goal and dream of moving down here for a minute.
Right.
And like I
I
said,
think
the
it's
fact
just there's just like a lot of creatives that are
yeah.
there
drawn
is,
to
yeah.
here.
No, but LA's a
So,
vibe in general.
yeah.
Like, I mean, we don't have this kind of shit in Seattle.
Yeah.
Like, so a lot of people that come from Seattle over here, there's a lot to get used to.
Right.
But we've already lived here about 3 years now. It's like we've already kind of grown onto a lot of the stuff that we see happening down
facts.
here. A lot of the people, if you're if you haven't come down here from Seattle yet, they're gonna be like, what the fuck is this? Like, like it's a lot of shit to get used to, versus Seattle. Ours is definitely more like, what's the term you would say? You've said it before. I forget the actual term, but
I don't know the actual term, but yeah.
I mean,
it's
I'd go
definitely-
there to just like chill and do some
Yeah.
shrooms or some shit. Like,
Yeah, relax.
yeah. No,
it's
I mean,
definitely a lot slow pace.
it's slow
Time
pace,
slows
yeah,
down.
slow pace, and
Absolutely.
like that's where our family is at, and we only go back home like once a year,
Yeah.
if anything, once or twice a year, just
Yeah.
because there's nothing to do there. This is where our job is. This is where all our work is.
Yeah.
We only
Right.
go there when we like holidays.
Yeah, to be
holidays.
with family.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with the family
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And like I said, it is definitely a different vibe, and that's why some people when they come down here. Because you're so used to how Seattle is, it's so different.
Right.
Like we had that culture shock. It was like a lot of stuff to get used to down here. A lot of accidents that were happening.
Noise.
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 And it honestly it was easy to adapt though. Like I feel like it was easy to adapt. It wasn't that hard, but it was just like, damn, like look at that shit over there, or look at this shit over here.
just
It's
surprises
like,
you
Yeah,
every
it
now and
surprises
then.
you. It catches you off guard,
Yeah.
But it's like I love LA.
He also wasn't raised in the ghetto, so I was from
Yeah.
the ghetto,
Yeah,
in Washington,
yeah.
so
No,
I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
You know.
No, but it still took a while for you to kind of
It
adapt
did,
to
yeah.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
But like I said, I love LA in general. It's a vibe down here. I love meeting people. It's just been amazing being down here, and I can't see myself, moving back home until
Yeah.
like I retire, if anything.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what? I used to always say that I would live and die in LA, right? Because this is just home. I don't know anything else.
Yeah.
You know, my immediate family is here, all my friends. But as I grow older, I become a little more detached, where I'm like, I could live somewhere else. Like, it's fine, you know? And I've thought of moving to Miami. I've definitely thought of retiring in Puerto Rico. Like, when I visited for the first time, I fell in love with the people, with, you know, the
energy,
land, with the weather, with the water. So that's definitely a place that I envision myself being someday.
Yeah,
you know?
that's dope. And it, you know, like, I feel like when you do retire, you have to get out of the place where you grew up and stuff like that and venture out.
I'm
because
moving.
Yeah,
moving.
you know,
I'm
like,
going.
Go to someplace you love.
Exactly.
And you can relax.
I'll be back. I'll be back.
Yeah,
you know?
this is always gonna be home for you. But
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, once you retire, like, you're done. Like, you already did what you needed to do. Now you're just living your life.
Yeah.
You know, enjoying what you can. You know, and
You guys are getting closer.
I think we need, I think we need to do that already.
exactly.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
travel when you
like,
can.
I'm definitely not gonna wait until I retire to live my
Facts.
life.
Of
You
course.
know what I mean?
Facts.
Oh, yeah, of
Like,
course.
it's like, that's my issue with life, is that we're such a slave to the system
Yeah.
Right.
that we all think that being alive means going to work every single morning, having to provide for this.
Yeah.
And although, yes, we have to do these things in order to eat,
Yeah.
it's like there's so much more important
Oh, yeah, for
things
sure.
that we need to do on a daily basis.
Right.
You know?
And once you visit like other states and really realize like how much there is to explore, especially going to a different country, you just get that culture shock of like, wow, there is more.
And they're
than what you
chilling.
are.
When
Yeah,
you,
they
when
are.
you go to other countries, like, they're just like waiting, watching time pass by, and I'm like, yo, you don't have anxiety? Like, this shit's going too slow. You don't think it's going too slow?
Exactly. It's a whole different pace. Yeah.
It is.
For real. So like going back into your music, you know, you released your song called Crying Inside about 2 years ago.
Yes.
But you really gained traction when you released your song Chill.
Chills, yeah.
That released 6 months ago. What do you think like contributed to that success of Chill?
Well, you know, when I did the first two songs, they were YouTube beats.
Oh, okay.
So for me, in my mind, it was like, this is just for fun, right? Like, I'm just being a creative at this moment, you know?
Okay, yeah.
When I did Chills, that was a beat that I had bought, you know, from Stan the Man out in New York. He's a producer.
Oh, okay.
So that is straight up East Coast, and
It
yeah,
is,
see,
yeah.
Once I heard it, I was like, damn, this is some East Coast shit.
I got that from Brooklyn.
Yeah,
you know what
it's
I mean?
fire,
Like,
though. It's fire.
So, you know, for me, it was different, where it was like, okay, like, this is my song now.
Okay,
You
yeah,
know? And I had also developed another level of my voice that I hadn't tapped into just yet. So once I got there, it was like, no, okay, I want to actually pursue this, you know?
Okay.
And again, when I dropped it, it was 50% for fun, and the other 50 was like, well, let's see where it goes, you know? And when it got the attention that it got, I was like, I think I got something here, you know? And at that moment, I couldn't ignore it anymore. I was like, this is all kind of starting to make sense. Like, how come as a little girl, I loved rap so much? Like, I'm an only child. So for me, like, I was always by myself. You know, I've always just been by myself. So for me, listening to music was like hanging out with a sibling. You know, so that's how much importance it had in my life.
Yeah.
So, you know, it was like, why do I have such a profound relationship with music? How come I used to perform in front of the mirror all the time? You know, like, how come I've always daydreamed about performing, you know, when I never did stuff like that, you know, or pursued anything like it.
Right.
You know, when I was having a conversation with my mom the other day, it's actually her birthday today. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Mom. Yes.
Happy birthday.
Yes. So I was having a conversation with her, and, you know, she's like, I remember you as like a 6-year-old. You'd be like, Mom, did you see what I just did? Did you see? And I'd tell you, yeah, I did. And you'd be like, what did I do? And I'd have to tell you from beginning to end what you did and how you did it, which way you turned. Otherwise, you wouldn't believe me, you know? And she's like, you were just such a performer, like from such a young age. And I was like, wow, like, I had kind of forgotten about that, you know, like I knew that I did it on my own, but I didn't remember doing that for my mom, you know, so
it's just something that came naturally.
And I've always been a jukebox, so I've always been known for knowing lyrics front to back for all genres, like all of them.
That's dope.
Yeah.
So would you perform at like your family parties and stuff like that?
No, you know what? I didn't really have that dynamic. You know, my parents divorced when I was about 9 years old. So after that, I didn't really, like, prior to it, we had family parties and it was mainly my mom's side of the family. Like I do remember vaguely being around a large amount of people. After that, it was just me and my mom, and then me, my dad, my grandma, and then eventually my stepmom came into the picture when I was 12. And it's just been us, you know? So it's funny because around them, I'm actually very shy. And like, I'm not like a singer or a performer. Like, I'm not like that at all. I kind of felt like I had two different identities.
Personalities.
You know, where it's like, you know, when I'm with my friends, I'm like, give me the mic. I'm singing and I'm dancing and I'm just loud and like talkative and just having a great time. And when I'm with my family, I'm very quiet.
Why do you think that is though? Because, you know, of course, like your parents and your family, you grew up with them. So it's like, what do you think would be the reason for like being so shy around them?
I'm still trying to figure that out. You know, I have lots of conversations with myself, and I always try to ask myself these like deep questions as to, you know, why I am the way that I am, you know. And it's like, you know, I didn't have the best relationship with my mother growing up, you know, so I'm working on that now, you know, so I'm finally at a place where things are starting to be different. And, you know, with my dad, it's like we were really close, but for some reason I was always scared of showing him that I was growing up. It was weird. It's like I wanted to, you know, stay as young as possible. And like, you know, I don't know, for some reason I just didn't show like my vibrant personality around my family.
No, I can resonate with that too, you know, because I also feel the same. Like I was different with my friends and with my family because I was embarrassed of this perspective that they put upon me of like being the oldest child, of like, you know, being the golden child almost. I didn't want to break that perspective. So when I went with my friends, I would act a different way. And then when I went with my family, it would be a different way because I was afraid that they would look at me differently and look at me wrongly. But, you know, after high school, you know, I gotten closer with them, and, you know, I realized that like, it doesn't matter, you know. At the time, like I thought like, you know, they would look down upon me, but in actuality, they just wanted the best for me. And, you know, when we had that deep conversations growing up, it was like, okay, yeah, we could really, you know, I don't have to be a different person, you know, I could, you know, really open up, and, you know, they accept me for who I am because they know deep down, like I'm a good person, you know, and I feel like that's what really resonated with them too.
I think that's a part of the healing process too, is like getting to a point where you can be authentically yourself in front of your entire family and your, you know, everyone. And like for me, that's been a main topic where it's like, you know, like I definitely show my family, you know, that I do music, and for me that was a big step. It was huge because they had no idea. So you know, I had put out the video already. Chills, like I had already done it, and they didn't know. And I came to them and I was like, I got something I want to show you. You know, and like that day, like I remember my dad's mouth was like to the floor. Like he was like, I didn't know you could do this, you
Yeah.
know? And my dad is a very influential person in my life. You know, we were always very close when I was little.
Okay.
And you know, growing up, I did a lot of things that he was not
proud of.
He didn't agree with it, you know.
Right.
So, you know, we had our rough moments for a few years, you know.
Okay.
And when I started to change who I was, and then, you know, I became sober, and then I became a hairstylist, you know, he still didn't express like being proud of me,
Okay.
you know. And I remember being really angry, like why won't you tell me that you're proud of me?
Yeah.
You know. And when I showed him my music video, he like at the end he was like, wow, he's like, I'm so proud of you. And I was like, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
You know,
Shit.
like,
Yeah.
and I said, I got some here.
Yeah.
You know? And,
Yeah,
exactly.
you know, he was like, I showed my coworkers, I said, you talked about me? Like, you
You
actually,
were that proud?
I said,
Yeah.
you showed somebody,
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah.
it's like, to me, it was just like, oh, I gotta hear that again,
Yeah,
you know.
right,
and
right,
like, you know, so
just kept going.
I
That's
so
always
dope.
I always share my music with my dad. Like,
Yeah,
I'll
that's
go into
good.
the studio, and like when I get out of the studio, I'll send it to him. And you know, he's always like, yes, like that was hard, like,
Yeah.
you know. And
Yeah,
dope.
that's dope.
Yeah.
so for
Yeah.
me, it's like I'm in a very like happy place right now as a daughter.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I am starting to heal a lot of, you know, those relationships.
Yeah.
Proud of you. You came a long way.
Thanks,
I
man.
give you a round of
Yes,
applause.
sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, you know,
Let's go.
congrats to you. You know, I'm definitely proud of you, you know, going through all that. Yeah, so, you know, like what you were kind of bringing up with the whole like singing situation and stuff like that. Like, one thing that female rappers, like, they're kind of known to have some kind of singing abilities. Like, do you sing at all? And like, are we gonna hear any of that like on any feature singles or anything like that?
So I always say this. I am more of a Drake than I am a Whitney Houston. So,
Okay,
you
yeah.
know, I
So
can
you have that boat. You
Yeah.
can do that
You
mixture.
can sing rap.
I could carry a tune here and there,
Right.
you know, but I can't do runs. You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
have like range like that, but
yeah.
yeah, I could carry a melody, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
And yes, I will be doing stuff like that.
Fire.
But you know, I always like to keep it. I like to keep it gangster, you know. So, one of my biggest inspirations for hooks is definitely Nate Dogg, and like I
okay.
love how Nate Dogg can sing
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
still make it gangster. You know,
Yep.
like
Right.
so
Super catchy.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So for me, that's like something that I would like to emulate. You
Nice,
know,
yeah.
So
Excited to hear that.
yeah, no, we'll see how it works out. You know, you'll hear something soon.
We interrupt this episode with a word from our sponsor. Are you looking for a way to energize for the day? We got a product that will do just that.
Introducing Gamer Subs. Gamer Subs is a keto-friendly, zero-calorie, zero-sugar-based energy drink that introduces nootropics to sharpen focus and increase reaction time.
Gamer Subs is also organic caffeine based that will maximize energy and endurance. To make it easier, each scoop used is 100 milligrams so you don't go over your daily limit.
Each tub of Gamer Subs contains 100 servings. Gamer Subs also provides caffeine-free tubs for those that just want their daily vitamin dose without the need for caffeine.
Not only do they have energy drinks, they also have dope merch such as these waifu cups, t-shirts, and hoodies, and much more.
Are you ready to energize with Gamer Subs?
Use our code Artistry Drop on their website and receive a 10% off discount.
Hey, now back to the show.
Fire,
Let's go.
We're excited for it. So you were on Sway's Overtime recently.
I sure was.
How was the excitement of like being invited to Sway's show and like showing off your freestyling capabilities?
I mean, it was a dream come true. Of course, I grew up watching, you know, BET, MTV, things
right.
like that. So you would catch him
Yeah.
a lot, like covering hip hop stories and artists. So you know, he's someone that I've always seen,
Right,
and
yeah, for sure.
you know, being invited to do Overtime, definitely. even gave me that like confidence boost where it's like, yo, like Sway heard about me. That's crazy, you know? And I had a great time. I learned a lot, you know. I think that every single time I do something, there's like a learning experience behind it, you know, whether I'm performing or, you know, where it's like, I could have done this better. Like next time, mental note, you know, and like, I don't beat myself up about things, you know, because like I tend to be really harsh on myself. So it's like when I do experience moments that I'm like, damn, I could have done this better. Like it's like that's in the past already. The only thing that I can do is moving forward, do it differently. And you know, that for me is like one of the biggest lessons that I've also had in life.
That's dope. And like I said, see you went on there, and damn, you killed it on the freestyle though.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
You killed it on there. So definitely proud of you. You know, even being invited onto Sway's show.
That's big.
It's big. It's big.
It was great, you know, and it's like, to me, it feels so good, you know, being embraced because in that room, you know, I was the only woman and there was like 10 guys just like watching me, you know, and it's like,
but you still did it. You brought up that confidence.
You still killed it.
You spit.
There's you know, there's a lot of pressure. Like I walk into a lot of rooms and they're all mainly men, you know? So it's like, for me, I love the feeling of being embraced. Like I was always kind of a guy's girl growing up, you know, so I'd be around a lot of dudes. But now this is a whole other dynamic. You know, it's like now we're like working now, you know, like we're not just kicking and drinking, getting fucked up, you know, like we're being creatives, you know, and to have that respect means a lot to me. And that's something that I wish to maintain throughout my career.
Definitely. That's fire. Sure. Definitely proud of you for that.
Thank you.
But we're going to get into something new now.
Yes, sir.
All right.
So here on the Artistry Drop, we want to bring something new and exciting onto the show. So today we're going to play a game called Artistry Roulette. Here is how the game is going to go. You're going to choose a number between 1 and 6. Each number will contain a random question, which you only have 15 seconds to answer. Each question that goes over 15 seconds will cost you a sip of that drink. Daisy, are you ready?
I was born ready.
She ready for this?
You ready?
Yes, sir. So first question of the day. If you had a superpower, what would it be and why? Timer starts now.
Oh my God. If I had a superpower, I'd like to go back in time and give myself advice. That way, so that I could avoid fucking up more. Less.
Time.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so 2 through 6. What is the number you want to choose? 3?
Okay, so 3. If you had a sibling, who will it be and why? But I guess you don't have siblings.
Okay, so
maybe a cousin. If you had a cousin.
If I had a cousin, who
would it be and why? To save the last person to save in the world.
If I had to save one cousin?
Now. Ready? Time starts now.
I'm going to pick Chance, man.
Yes.
Chance is my cousin, my artist, very funny. And I hate to do this because I have a lot of cousins, but Chance was the one I grew up with on a daily basis, and I love you.
You were almost there. You were almost there.
So we
I'm still down there.
Still drink that. Still drink that.
So you chose 1 and 3. You have 2, 5, and 6.
2?
Let's go.
If you were an animal, what would it be and why?
Time starts now.
A cat, because I can lay out all day long and get good cuddles, pets. You know, I'm feisty a little bit, you know, and very selective. So let's roll with cat.
Let's go with cat.
Like that answer.
Yes, sir. So now you chose
5.
Okay, go ahead.
That's yours.
Okay, that's mine. Who is the best rapper alive and why? Time starts now.
only because I have to answer this, I'm gonna just say Nas, because of his voice, his delivery, the message, and just the swag behind it. You know. But I don't want to choose. I don't want to choose.
Time.
That is a tough one.
That is really a tough one.
Yeah, it is a tough one. All right, so you got 4 and 6 now.
4.
4. If you can teleport, where would it be? Where would be the first place you'd teleport to?
Puerto Rican water, baby.
Oh, that was
Puerto
quick.
Rican?
Puerto Rican
quick.
water, yes.
Yes.
Like that water is so warm and calm, and I love being in water.
Yeah.
So
and from the pictures, it looks beautiful.
it's incredible. Y'all gotta go.
No, definitely. That's gonna be on the list soon. So
Yes, sir. So
All
we
right.
only have one question left.
One question less.
6.
Yes, 6. If you had the power to bring back one dead celebrity, who would it be and why?
Start.
Fuck. Who would it be? One dead celebrity? You know what? I don't do celebrities like. Damn.
5, 4,
Biggie.
3.
Biggie?
Why?
Because it's his 50th birthday on Saturday, May 21st, and
shit.
we're gonna be celebrating him in New York.
That's
and I want him to come party. You know what I'm
Yes,
saying?
Fire.
Cheers to Biggie.
Right.
Cheers.
Yes, sir.
Let's do a toast.
Okay, let's do a toast.
There you
Let's
go.
do it.
Okay, there you go.
Yes, sir.
Cheers. Cheers. Yeah. I didn't even know it was Biggie's birthday, actually.
Yeah, I didn't either.
Yeah.
50th birthday, yes.
Damn, that's
May
crazy.
21st.
Damn,
Hey, that was
you're
dope.
more in tune than we thought. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, definitely more than
Okay.
us. Hey, guys, that's our first game show. I hope you guys like it.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna be doing more of these, so
Yeah.
if you guys don't like it, let us know. We'll cut it out.
Let us know down
You
in the
guys
comments.
better like it.
I felt like it was fun. I felt
It
like a
was
lot of
fun.
people
It was
were
fun. It was definitely fun.
Okay, going back into you know, and talking about overtime, you know, I was really caught off guard when you spoke Spanish.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, like, I didn't even know. Like, do you incorporate Spanish into your verses, like, when it comes to music often?
That was the first time that I've ever
Really?
done it.
Fire.
Yes, it was the first time, and the response that I got from it was very powerful because I got to include my people into it, you know, like I
right.
feel like they felt they were a part of it too,
Right.
you know, and that's a win, you know, for our culture, definitely,
Right.
you know, so I felt very empowered by it, you know.
Oh, damn, that's dope. Yeah, because the first time I've actually seen that was that Netflix show. I forgot what it was called. But
with D-Smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. So when I saw your verse, I was like,
He actually commented on.
Oh, he did?
on the
Oh, that's
video.
fire.
Yeah,
That's
he
big.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he
fire.
actually commented on that video.
That's dope.
damn, that's big. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you were on that show, like, I know you did a freestyle, but are you more of a freestyler or a writer?
I am a writer 100%.
Okay.
You know, I have to have intention into whatever I'm doing, and it's a process. So,
I bet.
you know, and just because I care so much about what message I'm trying to deliver, I definitely need to set time aside to like listen to the beat and, you know, try to be as creative
Right.
with the delivery as well, you
Yeah.
know, because something that I don't want to do is sound the same on every single
Right.
song that I do. You know,
Right.
like obviously I want my voice to be strong, but I
Right.
want to have fun with it too. And I don't want to just be put in this like box either, like
exactly.
where they're like, oh, I already know what she's gonna sound like, or you know, like
Right.
I want to switch it up.
Yeah.
You know, show
Exactly.
that you know I do have skills in that way.
Right. So coming from a writer background, like, on overtime, you had to freestyle. How was that experience, especially when you spoke in Spanish? Like, that must have been like intimidating to do.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it is written, you know, so
Okay.
they call it a freestyle, but it is definitely written.
Okay, that's what I thought.
yeah.
Okay.
Like I showed up with that, and you know, you can do takes. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
There's more than one chance
Yeah,
to
yeah,
record.
yeah.
Oh,
So-
okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's like, you know, I didn't mean to put the secrets out there. You know, it's luckily it's not live.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think a lot of people
even
know.
though, you know, I have done live stuff before,
Yeah.
obviously, like I've performed and things like that. So it's
Yeah.
like you have
Yeah.
to practice.
Right.
No,
I bet.
exactly.
So I watched some of your past interviews, and you know, you're a very beautiful woman, really soft spoken. But when
Thank
you
you.
perform, you bring out this whole different persona, which is loud, confident, gritty.
Yes.
Like, was that persona something that took you a while to master, since it's kind of like conflicting to your own personality?
What's very interesting is that I didn't know that I had it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it didn't come out until I would be in the booth. You know, when I hear myself here, like I just like, like, you know, like I love that you guys have these headphones and that you have the mic, because like this is kind of what it sounds like and feels like when you're in the booth, you know. And also you know, performing, like that's not something that I knew I had until I was on stage.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
no, not
and
at all.
when was that? When was your first time on stage?
My first time, I think it was back in November or December.
Oh, that's recent.
Yeah.
First time on
very-
stage.
Yeah, very,
That's
very
crazy.
recent.
Yeah, that is recent.
Although I did have this moment a few years ago, I want to say maybe 5 years ago, I used to go to this place out in Santa Monica that had a live band, and you know, rappers would go on there and do their thing. I'm not someone that likes to rap over live instruments. Like I'm just not like that. Like I love beats, you know. I do enjoy live music, but when it's like rock and stuff like that, you know, like, or like they're singing, like I'm like, oh, this is tight. But like when people are rapping, like, give me a beat, please. So I went, and, you know, they did have me get on stage, because, you know, I would perform for them basically in the lot. And I was like, oh, check me out. And they were like, oh, you should come on stage. But I couldn't catch the vibe with the live music. You know, like I couldn't catch it. And like they were just like that. They were so used to being on stage and doing that it became second nature to them.
For sure.
So I remember that day I was by the stage, and I'm like, could I get it to this? And I'm like trying, you know, like with my lyrics to go over it. And I was just like, no, like it's not making any sense, you know? And then they all turned to me and they were like, now. And I was like, and it was like, go time, go.
Pressure.
And I was like, no. And like everyone was like all the people playing their instruments were like, now is the time, you know? And I was like, no, but I can't. So I went up there and I got the mic and I started rapping, and it was so offbeat. And I, you know, a part of me was upset, because I was like, I knew that I couldn't get to this, you know, and like they forced me up here, you know, and like, but what's funny is that the response that I got from the crowd was very positive.
That's dope.
Like everyone was like, you know, okay, I guess it was the voice that did it, you know, and they were like, whoa, and they were like doing their whoos, you know, and clapping and stuff. And, you know, I felt terrible about myself when I got off stage. I was like, I fucking suck, you know?
But did that energy, like, of people, like, cheering and stuff, like, did that kind of bring you more up? Did that lift you up a little bit?
I mean, it made me happy, but I still was very upset with my performance. I was like, I couldn't catch that vibe at all. I couldn't catch the wave, you know? And it's just, I have to understand that I can't force things, you know? And even if someone's putting pressure on me, I got to stand firm on that. No, I said no, you know, because like I knew I couldn't, you know, and I still went up there to, you know, basically people please. But, you know, what it was too is overcoming a fear, right? Because it's like
being on stage.
Because I even told myself, what if I'm just scared, you know? And for me, it's so important to face my fears. Like I'm not someone that walks away, turns my back. Like I'm not like that. I think maybe I used to be like that when I was younger, and it made me feel really badly about myself, you know, to like coward out of something, you know. So it's like I'm not like that anymore, you know. I even when I'm scared, I go full force. I'm like, this is happening.
And going off of that, like somebody who like faced their fears and really goes against the grain, I feel like a lot of people in the world of social media, it's easier for like rappers or artists to like in general succeed if they're like really trendy or mumble rapping with a catchy flow or being super extra and flashy and really go viral. But your music is the exact opposite. I feel like you spit real bars and you ride your own wave.
Thank you.
Do you ever find it difficult to really go against the grain, especially in this generation?
Absolutely not. I think
Okay.
that's my strength, you know, and I own it and I love it so much because this is what inspired me when I was younger. This type of flow, you know, that type of like lyricism,
Right.
you know, and just the energy, you know,
Right.
and at this moment in life is where I'm my most authentic, right? Where it's like, I'm really not bullshitting about who I say I am, you know, and I'm very happy being transparent.
Right.
You know, it's like I feel like when you get caught up trying to portray an image
Right.
or a character, it's tiring.
It
you
is,
know,
yeah.
like I can't imagine how I would feel stepping into the scene and being like, yeah, I'm Dazy Lyn, the LA baby. You know what it is, you know?
Right.
And it's like, I'm not like that. I'm actually not like that in real life. You know, it's
Right.
like I speak differently. You know, I have a demeanor about myself that's
Right.
way different.
Exactly.
And I love that because there's a contrast, you know, and it's like, again, I believe it is my strength, you know, and I'm also very happy that I look a certain way. So the sound that comes out of this avatar,
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's go.
Yeah.
God knew what he was doing,
Right.
or she.
No,
Right.
and you've been killing it, like I said.
you.
But aside from being a rapper, you also are like a curly hair specialist.
I am.
I've never actually heard the term before.
Yeah.
So what does that curly hair specialist actually do?
So pretty much I just created my own lane. It's not like it's something new. It's not that I started it. It's just that I chose to specialize with curly hair.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I started in the beauty industry, I was doing nails, hair color, barbering, braiding. I did it all, makeup. But after a few years, I would eliminate certain things where I was like, I'm tired of doing nails. I'm tired of, cutting men's hair and having their sticky, their hair poking me and shit.
Right.
My fingers hurt from braiding, there was just all these things that I was like, I don't like this.
Right.
And I got into cutting and styling curly hair, and that took off. I am completely self-taught. And people always ask me, how did you get started, and all it was I started using my friend's product, Rizos Curls, to style people. And when they would come into the salon, I'd say, hey, because I used to do hair color. So I'd say, hey, instead of our usual blow dry today, can I style you naturally? Some of them would be like, bitch, you crazy, I'm here for my blow dry, But some of them were like, yeah, let's try it out. And I just have a way with hair. I feel like I'm very intuitive when it comes to hair. And it really shows in the way that I style hair. It's pretty effortless, not to toot my own horn, but and when I would style them and I'd upload their afters, people would be in my DMs like, yo, did you just give them a perm? And I was like, no, that's all them. And they're and that's where their curiosity sparks, and they're like, oh, my hair's curly too, like, do you think you could do that to me? So I don't know, you're gonna have to come in and find out. And that's basically what started it. It was just me uploading my before and afters on Instagram, on the stories, on Snapchat, and like that's why I tell people all the time, like, don't be afraid to showcase your work, because that's what's gonna get the ball moving. You can't expect to grow if you're not showing anyone. If I didn't show anyone that I rapped, I wouldn't be here right now.
Exactly. So touching into that a little bit deeper, like, I'm assuming, you only do woman hair, you don't really do men's, as you mentioned, and you don't do any perms or color. I kind of want to know, like, what's your reasoning behind that?
So I wanted to specialize in one thing, something that was fast, something that didn't require a lot of like overhead, like finances, right? and I was really good at it already. At cutting curly hair and styling it. So for me, it was just a win-win. It's like, this takes minimal time because I'm with a client easily, you know, depending on how thick and long, or you know, like there's just different things that like density and like length and things like that that play a part into the time.
I bet. Yeah.
But 30 minutes to an hour and a half, 2 hours top. You know, so it just depends who I'm dealing with.
Right.
But that's what allowed me to move quickly, going that route.
Yeah.
And also just having minimal overhead. I bought my scissors one time. I bought my towels one time. I bought my chair, my wash bowl, my cover ups. You know what I mean? Like everything I bought was one time. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like after that, it's all profit. You know, and when you do hair or other things, you constantly have to be reinvesting. You know, because you got to buy product, and like I've already done that. I did that for a few years. You know, and you know, shout out to my hairstylist because that is heavy work. Very heavy.
I bet.
You know, and someone's got to do it, and I'm happy that they do it. You know, like my hairstylist does a hell of a job with my hair. You know, so major props and respect to them. Y'all don't get paid enough. Y'all need to charge more.
Yeah,
exactly.
Hey, that's dope to hear though. But you know, before we end the podcast, there's something we got to talk about a little bit because I think it's pretty funny. Last week you posted on your IG stories, and I hit you up about this, but you like about how you love a man's hand.
Oh my God.
And it can tell
it
a
caught
lot.
Up to me.
Yes, and you know, you were talking about, you know, like it can tell a lot. And has this like always been like your fetish or something like that?
It wasn't always like that. It started a few years ago. When I actually, like, I don't even remember the first. Okay, I think what happened is I noticed a hand I didn't like. You know, and then I was like, I was like, I don't like that hand. You know, and then that's when it started becoming a thing. You know, and then I've dated a bit, so it's like I started to kind of see similarities between certain kind of hands. Like I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into it because people then they're like, oh, what does mine mean? Like, you know, and
I'm curious about my hand.
Don't show me shit. I don't
so
want
like,
to see nothing.
Is it the top of the hand or like the other side of the hand that you look at most?
At the top.
The top.
Yeah,
okay.
The top. I'm like, oh God.
And
not
then,
these hands.
Yeah, no, and then you know you did mention, because I told you my girlfriend loves my arm.
Your arms,
like, so
she just girl, you just love cutting them arms.
No, and she talks to them. She'll be like,
to them,
army, like hi army.
You be licking those arms.
Like you said, you also mentioned you like arms as well. It's like that's something that kind of came in later, or
I mean, the hands is attached to the arms. So let me check out the arm too. You know,
so you might as well.
The arms attached to the chest too. Might as well.
That is fact. No, like I said, I just had to know because I know it was a big thing on your stories.
It was
talking
huge.
About people was messaging you.
Yes, I had so many DMs about that. People were sending me pictures. I was like, yo, man, I shouldn't have said nothing.
No, that shit is funny. Hey, you got it off your chest, so hopefully more people hear about this. They won't have to ask you anymore because you already laid it out for them.
Right.
No, they're gonna get into it because it's like sometimes, like me looking at someone's hands, it's like I can tell whether they're sensitive. I can tell whether they're a handy person. I can tell whether they're like, for lack of better word, like a trickster. You know, like or
so you're a palm reader.
Yeah, like a palm reader, would you say?
Or by the
top of the hand reader?
Top of the hand reader.
Top of the hand reader. Yeah.
You know, it's like there's certain qualities about a hand where I'm like, this is a hand that's trustworthy. This is a hand that's deceitful, or it's a like, you know, like there's so many different categories, and like I can't explain it. It's just based off of my intuition. intuition, where I'll look at
Okay.
someone's hands and I'm like, I can trust this person.
Yeah.
You know, like it's so weird when I play it back, but it makes sense in my head.
So if y'all didn't know, you better get your hands right, bro.
Yeah.
No, that's
new
hilarious. That's hilarious. Well, Daisy, it was fun having you on the show. We did talk a lot.
Yes.
But before, we end it, we do like to ask, like, what advice would you give to the next up and coming rapper, or, somebody want to be a hairstylist?
Just do it. Just go for it. You're probably not gonna like your beginning work, and that's normal.
Right.
Like, we all have to go through this process. It's a learning process. We all got to be new at something at some point. So just do it and be unafraid, fearless. And even if you are fearful, push through. This is where you see the fruits of your hard work, and be an example for others. Show them the journey. And that way you inspire others to do the same.
Facts.
Like, if I kept my journey to myself, I really wouldn't be helping out my community. But
For sure.
eventually I'm gonna get into sharing a lot more about myself. So I'm looking forward to that.
Hopefully this
Baby
was a little
steps.
step, a little step at least. So hopefully we helped you a little
Absolutely,
bit.
yeah. No,
Like-
I had a great time. I already knew
Thank
we
you.
was gonna vibe.
Oh,
I
appreciate it.
I've seen your guys' videos, and I was like, oh no, we gonna be straight.
We appreciate that. We
Yeah.
appreciate
For sure.
that. Where can people find you on social media?
Instagram at Dazy Lyn. That's DAZY_LYN. So at this moment, my Instagram's the only thing I can handle. But trust me, I've been told, get a Twitter, get a Facebook, get this, and I'm like, I hear you, but damn, my Instagram, I'm not even joking. My Instagram right now has like easily 500 unread messages where I'm just like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. Yeah,
that is a lot.
Like, I oftentimes because it gets pushed down so much that I just don't want to scroll. So they're like all lingering at the bottom. And I feel like such a dick when I write back to y'all, like, a month later. I'm just like, I'm so sorry. There's only one of me, and I'm constantly working. If I'm not doing music, I am definitely doing hair, or I'm, just running around, or just being a daughter, hanging out with my family. So for me, it's very important to just be present.
Yes,
So,
as you should. You're only human.
I agree with you, because we had that little conversation too, and I'll get a lot of messages and stuff like that, and sometimes to be honest, I get lazy. I just don't want to reply back. It's just because it's either I'm doing something, or I'll be like, I'll get back to this like next week or something. It's just a thing. Like, before I used to be so good at keeping up, but it's to the point where it's
overwhelming.
It gets
is
overwhelming. You
Yeah.
get tons of messages and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, I'll just respond to this
you
later.
guys are doing the editing stuff
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
Like,
Right.
that takes a long time.
It
Like,
does.
It does.
I have interests, in like doing like videos and editing videos. Like, I edit a lot of my videos, and like I even want to get into podcasting as well.
Okay.
For me, that's something that I would love to do down the road.
Yeah.
So I know how much effort it
is.
goes into editing.
Yeah.
So it's like, you don't want to be there.
Yeah.
And you know what? My wrists hurt.
Oh yeah.
My wrists
Yeah.
hurt so much from being on my phone, and it's like, I'm just, God, having to catch up with all these DMs is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
So my bad. Don't take it personal. People unfollow me.
No,
Oh,
yeah,
I
no,
bet,
I
yeah.
definitely,
Yeah.
I can definitely see that. Some people just like, they're like, oh, they're not gonna respond
Yeah,
back.
they get
Boom.
upset. They
Yeah.
unfollow
Oh,
me.
yeah.
They're like, oh, you think you too, like, it's like, oh, damn, my bad. Like, I was gonna get back to you eventually.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just gotta be like, well, whatever.
It is what it
you're
is.
on to the next big, thing, anyways. So
You come back if you want. You
follow back.
You can follow me.
Exactly,
you know?
exactly.
all good.
Are there any shout outs you want to give to our viewers?
Oh shit. Ronnie, that's my manager. Cynic was
Shout
good.
out, Ronnie.
Let's go.
My DJ K Fresh. Let's see who else, man. There's too many people that could easily get pissed off, that that I'm not saying what's up to them. So happy birthday, mama.
Happy birthday, moms.
What's up, daddy? my dad, my real dad. My real dad. Hold up.
Not side dad.
Not the side dad.
Hold up.
Yeah.
No, that's dope. Well, like I said, we're glad you came on the show. We definitely had a lot of fun on this episode.
Yeah.
Excited to get that out there and, let people hear your story.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
but
so much.
guys, we hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, it's Artistry Drop. If you're not following us on Instagram, you can find us at the Artistry Drop. And if you prefer just listening, you can stream all our episodes on all major podcast platforms. And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace.